On this week's show, we give you the lowdown on which stars to track at the World Athletics Championships in Doha.
We dish the dirt on the latest round of the Speedway World Championships.
We spend a day with cross-country runner Bobby Clay.
And we get the Barbie going with the Georgian Rugby Team ahead of the Rugby World Cup.
Next week, the World Athletics Championships will take place in the Middle East for the first time. Doha in Qatar will host hundreds of the world's finest athletes over 10 days of competition. At the event, Qatari hopes will lie with reigning high jump world champion Mutaz Isa Bashim. The 28-year-old spent most of 2018 recovering from the ankle injury he suffered whilst attempting a new world record height of 2.46 metres. In 2019, Bashim picked up further injuries, but recently returned to competition posting some promising numbers. He remains one of the favourites going into the event.
Qatar has had success in athletics and we have a strong team. In recent years, we've done really well. I hope I can give something back to my country and also to the Athletics Federation and Olympic Committee, who have helped me hugely. I thank God for the success I've had so far, and with His grace, we will do well at the Games.
As Qatar's most decorated athlete of all time, Bashim will undoubtedly be the poster boy for the championships, as he aims to claim another global title for his collection. Another athlete expected to do well in Qatar is Belgium's Nafi Thiam. The 25-year-old is the reigning Olympic and world champion in the heptathlon. Earlier this year in Thailand, she cleared a heptathlon best of 2.02 metres in the high jump before picking up an elbow injury in the javelin.
Heptathlon was a natural choice for me, as I've always competed in all disciplines. I was never outstanding in one particular event, but I was good at all of them. Ever since I was little, I competed in every kind of athletics event. It's just something that I've always done. I've never focused on just one thing.
Despite the elbow issue, Nafi went on to beat the world's best long jumpers at the recent Birmingham Diamond League and will expect gold in Doha. One woman who knows what it is like to win on the biggest stage is long jumper Brittany Reese. The 33-year-old has won 4 World Championship titles. The American's first world title, won in 2009, still brings back happy memories for her.
I competed to my best of my ability, and I felt that I bounced back from 2008. And that's like the first year I jumped 7 meters, and I was just so excited, and I knew that I was doing what I knew I could do all along. And the field was deep. We had the Russians and we had the Olympic champion in there, and for me to beat them, I was honored and I was blessed, and I was real grateful out there, and I had a whole lot of fun competing that day.
Also competing at those championships in 2009 was Caterine Ibargüen. The Colombian finished 28th in the high jump, and it was following that disappointing performance that she switched to the triple jump. It proved to be a successful decision, as Ibargüen won the first of her 2 world titles in 2013, before claiming the Olympic title in 2016. In Doha, the 35-year-old will resume her rivalry with Venezuela's Yulimar Rojas, who pipped her to the title 2 years ago.
I believe that the key to my success lies in my preparation. My coach prepares me very thoroughly. We leave no stone unturned. I also have a lot of support from my family. The commitment and love I feel for the sport is crucial to my success. I love to compete, and training is a real pleasure for me every single day. Sometimes I want time to pass faster so that I can go and train. I think that approach is vital. To achieve anything in life, you need commitment, discipline, and love for what you are doing.
Olympic javelin champion Thomas Röller is still searching for his first World Championship medal after finishing fourth in both 2015 and 2017. Despite struggling for form in 2019, Qatar may well be the perfect place for the 27-year-old to end his drought. He has won the last two editions of the Doha Diamond League, most famously in 2017, when the German unleashed a huge throw of 93.90 metres.
It was not hard to throw that far. It was just fluent, it was clean hit, and a good sail of the javelin. Definitely you need the good sail. Sometimes you hit it clean, you have the good throw, but it's just not flying. You never know, it's javelin throwing. But it's that realization of, man, that was easy.
When it comes to passion and pride, the African nations always throw their full support behind their distance runners. And that's especially true in the case of Ethiopia's Genzebe Dibaba. Since breaking the 1,500 metres world record in 2015, it's been a rollercoaster few years for the 28-year-old. She was beaten to Olympic gold in Rio and finished last in the 2017 World Final. However, Genzebe returned to form early last year, winning gold in the 1,500 and 3,000 metres at the World Indoors.
It is strange, because here at home I practice outdoors. I only compete indoors internationally, but still manage to achieve good results. I think that in outdoor competitions I haven't done so well because I've used up too much nervous energy and become tired. I've made a few adjustments, so I'm looking forward to achieving similar results outdoors as I have indoors.
Some athletes strike gold on their debut at the Worlds, and at the age of 21, Karsten Warholm did exactly that. The Norwegian stunned the world and himself by winning the 400 metres hurdles title in London in 2017. He celebrated his performance by imitating the scream by famous Norwegian painter Edvard Munch.
The outcome couldn't have been better. I won the World Championships, and that was beyond what I could expect. So the whole London experience was very good for me. I've never been in the so-called bubble for that long time, and had 3 races that I needed to perform in just one championship. So it was kind of hard, but I learned a lot, and of course taking home a medal as well was extremely fun.
Since then, Warholm has only got quicker. He won the recent Zurich Diamond League in 46.92 seconds, the second fastest time in history. With American Rai Benjamin also dipping under the 47-second barrier and home hope Abderrahmane Samba world #1 in 2018, it could be the event of the championships. Another surprise victor at the last Outdoor World Championships was Rune Liev. He became Turkey's first ever world champion by winning the 200 metres. Transworld Sport profiled Rune in 2007 when he was just 17. Back then, he was representing his nation of birth, Azerbaijan.
In Azerbaijan, sports such as judo, boxing and wrestling are what the country is known for. There isn't really a history of success in athletics in Azerbaijan, and that is something I want to change. I want to start what I hope will be a great period for the sport.
Rune proved his shock world title was no fluke as he clocked a blistering 19.76 seconds to win the European title last August. One sprinter who is looking back to her best is Shelly Ann Fraser. The Jamaican sprint legend missed 2017 to give birth to her son Zion, but has returned with a bang in 2019. Having broken 10.8 seconds on 3 occasions this year, she is enjoying arguably her finest season to date. The 32-year-old is proud to represent her country and will never forget her humble beginnings.
Growing up in Waterhouse was not that warm and welcoming because, you had crime and you had violence a lot. You had people getting pregnant at a young age. You had boys dying early. And there most times I could not get to go to school because of curfews and because police had something they needed to do in the area, so the area was under shutdown. So it was pretty rough, but I mean, my mom was actually strict, so I was under strict rules and regulations.
Shelly Ann won't have it her own way in Doha. She lost out over 100 metres at the recent Diamond League final to Dena Asha Smith. The British sprinter finished 2018 ranked #1 over 100 and 200 metres, as the Londoner became the first British woman to break the 22-second barrier when winning European gold. The 23-year-old will be competing at her 4th World Championships in Doha, having won an upgraded relay medal at her first champs.
My mum called me and said, "You've been promoted to bronze." I was like, yeah, okay. Then we went on Twitter, everybody was like, "They've been promoted to bronze," and we were like, oh my gosh. And at that moment, Hayley came running down the corridor, Ashley came down screaming like, "We got the bronze." We were all just so happy. It was just one of those kind of fairy tale moments.
Having beaten all of her rivals across both sprints going into Doha, Dena Asha Smith could well be one of the stars of the 2019 World Athletics Championships. Be sure to tune in.
Now it's time for our sporting question. Next week, we'll see the 9th edition of the Rugby World Cup get underway in Japan. The hosts will open against Russia in Tokyo and will play Ireland in their second fixture. Ireland will be led by their star man Johnny Sexton, as the team will hope to progress past the quarter-final stage for the very first time. 34-year-old Sexton was named as 2018's World Player of the Year and will hope to impress in Japan.
Hit, one step. Right.
And it's the Rugby World Cup that provides us with the subject for our question. We'd like you to name the youngest player to play in a World Cup final. We'll bring you the answer later in the show. The Speedway World Championship recently came to Teterow in Germany. With 4 races remaining, it was a crucial meet for those outside the top 8 and without a guaranteed spot in next season's championship. 2017 world champion Jason Doyle was placed 10th.
The last couple of Grand Prix have been disastrous for myself, but there's many points up for grabs now, and I'm not far off the top 8, which now is going to be the main goal for the season, to stay in the Grand Prix and push forward. So
I want to be in top 8 to be ready to be sure to qualify in next year.
Neither Doyle nor Kowaje progressed past the heats, but it was a meet that saw just one man in the top 5 make the final.
World Championship on the line. We really are at the business end of the season. Here tonight in Teterow, round 7, here we go. And Madsen spent too much time on one wheel there. Smarslik with the beauty, and now Janowski is there. And as things stand, Madsen will miss out on the final. This would be a great result for Bartosz Smarslik, but Madsen's not done yet. Madsen's coming on strong. Janowski with the lead. Smarslik second. Madsen is third right now. Madsen has to find some way past Bartosz Marslik. Lindgren is at the back. Madsen still very much on the pace. And I'll tell you what, the way it's going, Madsen may miss out on the lead in the World Championship, going to his home country, Denmark. 1 lap to go. Here we go. 2 laps to go.
Unbelievable stuff. Madsen was all over the place away from gate 2, lifted several times, very untidy. Janowski then actually capitalised coming from gate 3. Madsen's giving it everything in third place. Smarslik's there in second place. Looking like Madsen's going to miss out. There will be a blow to him, but Janowski has capitalised and is going to win his first race on the night.
It's going to be a final spot for Maciej Janowski, and Bartosz Marslik is there as well.
Significant moment, Nigel, in the championship chase.
2 points the difference. Madsen leads the World Championship by 2 points. So a second place in the final for Smarslik would mean we have a tie at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Or if Smarslik wins it, he will lead the World Championship by a point, going to Madsen's own country of Denmark next Saturday night.
And that will be a 7-point swing on the night, and that is very significant indeed. Janowski wins in fine style, Smarslik back in second place. Madsen misses out, and that will be a blow for him, but still, he is hanging in there. It's not a disaster, of course, it's just a blow on the night, but Smarslik's got 1 more ride to go.
It's Matti Zegar off the inside here, then it's Niels Christian Iversen off 2 on a warning, Patrick Dudek off gate number 3, and Emil Seifutinov third in the World Championship could really do with a win here.
He could indeed, and he's had a great night really, because he's turned his fortunes around big time, and Emil, such a favourite with so many people. A lot of people want him to be world champion, hasn't quite done it, but he needs a win again now to keep himself right in the title chase.
Here we go, big race, semi-final 2. Iversen is there, Zegar is there. Early on now, what can Seifutinov do? Zegar holds the lead, watch out for Dudek at the back as well, challenging hard. Now the battle is on for Seifutinov, but Iversen is quick tonight and holding a clever line in second place. It's going to be hard for Emil from here, because Zegar has the lead, finished top in qualifying last night and heading to the final.
Brilliant stuff from Zegar once again. These 2 boys are just revitalised with their qualification from the challenge last weekend. Looking like they're set for the final. Seifutinov there on the inside! Oh, pushing hard, desperately trying to find a way through. No room there. Iversen closes the door. Zegar's way on.
Niels has lost it.
He's out of shape. Out of shape. Can he get there? No, he's just about hung on. Brilliant recovery from Iversen, but Seifutinov again on the inside. Really tight. Very tense.
Yeah, Niels Christian Iversen has just about done enough, it seems. It's going to be Matti Zegar in the final.
With Zegar and Iversen progressing from the second semi, Bartosz Smarslik was the only man in the title challenge that made the final. Victory in Tetero would see him take the overall lead.
Here we go, the Astor in German FIM Speedway Grand Prix final. Matti Zegar off the inside then in the red helmet. Maciej Janowski gate 2 in blue. Then it's Niels Christian Iversen gate 3 in white, recently signed for the Ipswich Winches in the UK. And then it's Bartosz Smarslik in yellow, the only man in the top 5 who is in the final here. 2 points behind Leon Madsen, the World Championship leader.
Yeah, brilliant.
Can Smarslik win the final and take the lead in the title race, going to Madsen's own backyard in Boyens next weekend? It's boiling up nicely. Here's the final in Tetero. Janowski makes a beauty off gate number 2. Maciej Janowski has that lead now. Can he be caught here? Smarslik charging hard at the back. He's relegated to the back though. Here comes Iversen around the outside. They're throwing everything now towards Janowski. It's all very tight. Smarslik coming up the inside into second place. That would put him level with Madsen in the title race. What a ride from Bartosz Smarslik. He's hunting down Maciej Janowski as well. If Smarslik passes Janowski, he will be the leader going into Boyens.
He had to work very hard there, Nigel. Initially it didn't work for him at all, but a brave move coming out of turn 4 up the inside saw him into second place. Janowski's had a fabulous night, unspectacular in the early heats, but rock solid with second places, wins the semi-final out of gate number 2. He's out in front from gate number 2 in the final. Janowski riding out of the top draw tonight.
Magic Maciej Janowski is going to win in Tetero. He wins in the Berg Arena, and Bartosz Smarslik has gone from last to second, and those 2 points gained mean that Bartosz Smarslik is joint leader of the World Championship.
very happy. We work hard all night, and actually for last two the most important heats we find a perfect setup, perfect from the start, and later on the track was worked very good. So thank you for my team, for my sponsors, and of course to all the crazy fans, you know. Oh, amazing. I'm very happy.
We'll have more Speedway action as the SGP season reaches its conclusion.
England Netball recently launched a new initiative specifically for young people. Netball Development Officer Debbie Spindlow tells us more.
B-Netball is our brand new programme for under-11s. We are now encouraging 5-year-olds up to 11-year-olds to play netball, but B-Netball is very different. So it's not just about encouraging the netballer, it's about encouraging the person behind it as well. So can they shoot like Joe Harton, but also are they resilient when they lose, or can they wait their turn? So it's all about developing the person and our beliefs in netball as well as the netballer.
At the recent Netball World Cup in Liverpool, a pop-up court was set up at the Fan Park, enabling young people to try their hand at netball, and it stirred a lot of interest.
The setup of the court has been fantastic, and we've had so many people wanting to give it a go. We've got brand new merchandise for Bees Netball, which is vibrant and colourful, and they've loved playing with the netballs there, so it's fantastic to see girls and boys of all ages playing sport and playing netball and watching on the big screen as well.
Recent research has shown that a large proportion of children in England aren't getting the physical exercise they need to live happily and healthily. However, through B-Netball, England Netball hope to change that. They are rolling out the programme across the country.
It's easy to be a fighter when you're winning. When you're not winning, that's when it gets more difficult. I think when I'm running, it's when I'm truly me. I can be inside my own head for a long period of time. I love the fact I can go hard and run quick, and then that being reinforced by some numbers on a stopwatch. And other people might not find that exciting, but each time I put in like more effort and more effort, these numbers are going down. That's an amazing feeling.
Meet Bobby Clay. The 22-year-old British athlete dominated the long distance and cross-country circuits as a junior runner, claiming multiple national titles. Bobby joined England's Loughborough University aged 18 to study and train. Her coach is Rob Denmark.
Bobby came here 4 years ago now. I thought she was a very feisty, talented athlete who had a lot of drive, had a lot of success as a junior. And when she asked me to coach her, obviously I said yes, and it was a privilege to coach someone of her calibre. And in the first year, it was a good, successful relationship.
It was at this point in her athletics career that she started to make a real impression. She clinched titles at the 2015 1500-metre European Junior Championship in Sweden and the 2016 Great Edinburgh Cross Country International.
Hands down, winning European Juniors 1500 metres in 2015 was the best race of my life. It was amazing. I genuinely had the season of my life with Rob. I'd done some crazy, amazing sessions. I made myself known more in the senior world that year. I got to run in some diamond leagues, which is insane. Just being there was insane. And everything was going so well.
2 years before, Bobby and her sister Alex competed in the junior women's team event at the World Cross Country Championships. A shared passion for running, the Clays currently live together in Loughborough.
Before we came to Loughborough, we both had the same coach, but he'd never trained like girls, and especially girls pre-puberty. He'd always had a squad of boys, and training boys and men is very different to girls before they go through puberty and then when they're going through puberty.
Soon after joining Loughborough, Bobby Clay's breakthrough in athletics had to come to a halt. Years of overtraining and undereating had resulted in a number of unusual bone-related injuries, so her coach Rob advised her to take a DEXA scan on her bones.
The first we knew that there was a bit more of an issue was when she was just swimming at the end of the season, and she just did a tumble turn in the swimming pool, and she got a pain in her foot, and it was diagnosed that she actually broken her foot, and that wasn't right. That shouldn't have happened when she kind of pressed against the side of the pool.
I had no inclination that there was something wrong until there was the pool incident, and I felt a crunch, I heard a crunch, but no one breaks their foot in the swimming pool.
Bobby was diagnosed with osteoporosis, a health condition that weakens bones, causing them to become fragile. It also affected her ability to have a period, so Bobby was put on hormones. Despite the condition, she's fiercely resilient and is determined not to let it hold her back from reaching her potential.
My bones aren't strong enough to allow me to run or really do weight-bearing activity. So I'm on a bike, working my heart and lungs and all that system as much as I can, ready for when they say it's good to go, we're good to go together.
At the moment she's taken some time out. I think she's kind of accepted that's the way it has to be. She's kind of channeling that inner drive into her cycling, which is going really well, and she loves it. So she's able to kind of hurt herself in training because she can't do that in running.
I had a point where I was very much a shell. I lost a lot of confidence. I didn't really know who I was, and I had to learn who I was again before I even applied it to any kind of sport or any kind of training. But I know the second now I can do what I want to do, there's going to be very little that scares me, because it's been a scary journey so far, and I'm still here, so.
Bobby is taking the first steps on her road to recovery. She hopes that path will lead to her ultimate goal of competing at the Olympics.
If it was anyone else, I'd say there's probably no chance, but if anyone's going to do it, it will be Bobby, because she's never once said, oh, it's not possible.
I truly believe that I am meant to do this, because I've got an engine and it needs to be put to use. If I can run and fulfill my potential in that way and make other people smile at the same time, then I've achieved all I want to achieve.
The first 6 qualification places for Tokyo 2020 were up for grabs at the FIVB Women's Intercontinental Olympic Qualifying Tournament. 24 teams were split into 6 pools, with the winner of each group booking their place in Japan. Pool A was held in Wrocław, Poland, where the hosts took on Serbia in a winner-takes-all final match. The home side won the first set but lost the next 2, to leave them on the brink of elimination. In a tight 4th set, it was Serbia that edged ahead to give themselves a match point.
Still alive for Serbia. Now here comes the chance of Boskovic. Gets the touch, gets the point, gets the tickets. Serbia have done it. They've done it in 4.
Pool B took place in Ningbo, China, where the hosts won their opening 2 matches. A win over the also unbeaten Turkey would see them top the group. The reigning Olympic champions raced into a 2-sets-to-love lead. They continued their domination in the third set to earn 6 match points.
And that'll do it. It's an ace to send China to Tokyo. The defending champions from Rio will be there to try and keep possession of that Olympic gold medal in Tokyo 2020. There was no stopping them today.
The bronze medalists from Rio, the USA, also secured their spot in Tokyo by winning all 3 of their matches at home. A 3-0 victory over Argentina sealed qualification.
Scooped over, no, into the net. The USA will be going to Tokyo 2020. 3 wins from 3 this weekend. They haven't had it all their own way. Tested and challenged by Bulgaria in that 3-2 victory yesterday here in Louisiana.
Home advantage also proved crucial in Pool D, where Brazil topped a group featuring Azerbaijan, Cameroon and the Dominican Republic. The final match saw Brazil and the Dominican Republic face off, with the winners booking their place in Japan. Brazil had raced into a 2-set lead, but lost the next 2 to set up a first to 15-point shootout in the final set.
Crease to serve. She can set right on top of the net. Finished by Mara, and Brazil are going back to the big stage. They survived an almighty scare, forced all the way to the finish by Dominican Republic, but they come through, finding a second wind after losing sets 3 and 4. They take the 5th to take their place at Tokyo 2020.
Italy's route to Japan was far more straightforward. They didn't drop a set against the Netherlands, Belgium or Kenya.
Here's the set. Belly and out of position, couldn't do much with that. It's over, net touch. It's over, Italy are going to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games.
Russia will be joining the party in Tokyo, having defeated Serbia in a tense 5-set match. They had to come from 2 sets down to do so.
And there we go. That is the moment for Russia. Look at what it means to the players. Look at what it means to those fans. They have reached Tokyo. They will be in the Olympics next summer as one of the 12 teams. They were 2 sets down. It's just extraordinary.
The 5 remaining places up for grabs will be decided in January next year.
Now for the answer to this week's question. Earlier, we asked you to name the youngest player to play in the final of the Rugby Union World Cup. The answer is former All Black Jonah Lomu. Despite never winning the World Cup, Lomu was only 20 when he played in the 1995 final. The New Zealand star of Tongan descent was born in Auckland in 1975. It was during that 1995 World Cup where the then 20-year-old stunned the world with his 7 tries in 5 matches, which included 4 against England in the semis. His success that year led Lomu to be widely regarded as the first global superstar of rugby union. The great man eventually called time on his career in 2007 following illness, and tragically died of a heart attack in 2015. But rest assured that no one made an impact on the sport quite like Jonah Lomu. now we continue our tennis training tips series with Scotland's Jamie Murray, one of the world's leading doubles players.
Okay, so in today's doubles game, it's probably a 50-50 split whether players serve and stay back or players serve and volley. I'm more of a traditional doubles player. I serve and volley on both serves. So it's very important that I have a strong first volley. I guess my intentions when I'm coming to serve volley, coming in to play my first volley, is to, number one, avoid the receiver's partner who might be moving forward to put pressure on me and force me to volley into smaller spaces on the court. Or if both players are staying at the baseline, then it's important that I volley to the right part of the court. We like to target the backhand of the juice side player because it gives less angles, and generally speaking, backhand is a less powerful shot than forehand. Okay, so ideally after my serve, I'm running forward. I want to be playing my volley in line with the service line. The reason for that is if I'm volleying from too far back, I've got a lot more distance to cover, and the receiver's partner of my opponent makes it a lot easier for him to put pressure on me and to touch a lot more balls. So ideally I want to be here playing my first volley. And then after I've played my first volley cross court, I'm going to move to the middle of the service box, and my goal is to have my outside foot on the middle line again. My partner will have shifted across, and then we'll be in a strong position to play the rest of the point. Okay, so my objectives on the first volley is, first thing I want to do is to get low to receive the ball, to get as much of my body underneath the ball as I can, and to feel like my eyes are down level with the ball. The second thing I need to do is to keep my hand in front, and then I want to get my left leg behind the ball, and then I can use my right leg to move forward, which will give me the momentum that I need to get to the position that I need to be on the court after my first volley to be in a good spot to play my second volley. Okay, so at my level, we often experience a lot of receivers' partner pressure, and obviously you need to find a way to avoid him. So one way that we try to do that is what we call the antidote volley, where it's basically playing a short volley cross court as opposed to a deep volley cross court. And if you can master that, it's a great way to be able to come in off your serve and avoid the receiver's partner. If you feel like the receiver's partner is poaching too much, making too many moves, you can obviously volley down the line. And a way to do that is to come in and open up your wrist and almost play like the volley with a bit of side spin, which will help disguise where you're trying to aim the ball. Sometimes after a great serve, the ball might come back high and easy, a bit of a floater, and it's important that you have that change of speed, sprint forward into the net to get the ball as close to the net as you can to give you the opportunity to hit down into the court, hopefully for a winner.
Victor Hovland looks like a man destined for golfing greatness. The Norwegian was the leading amateur at both this year's Masters and the US Open. The 21-year-old Oklahoma State graduate turned pro in June. We caught up with him to see how he is enjoying life with the big boys on the PGA Tour.
It is a dream. I've looked forward to it all my life growing up, and it's been kind of crazy to get adjusted to all the things that goes on off the course. Because it's not like you just show up, play 18 holes, practice, and then get out of there. There's so many obligations to do, and so many people around. It's not an inconvenience, but it's just you have to get used to kind of the noise around the tournaments and figure kind of your routines out. So it's been a little hectic, but I'm loving it so far. I don't think I was really anticipating it to be this way, but gladly I had a couple of tournaments in the past as an amateur to kind of get used to it. So that really helped out.
Turning pro in June brought an end to Victor's hugely successful amateur career. He reached #1 in the world and won the US Amateur, all under the guidance of Oklahoma coach Alan Bratton. The pair said an emotional goodbye at the US Open at Pebble Beach.
It was definitely sweet. A little sad in a way because I had Coach Bratton on the bag. He caddied for me when I won the US Amateur out there at Pebble Beach. And, you know, to kind of, when I hold the putt on the 72nd hole, obviously I played well, but, you know, that was the last time he was probably going to caddy for me. And, you know, that was the last time I was going to wear the, you know, Oklahoma State orange and all that stuff. So it was a little sad, but it was, you know, it was a very cool run, and to kind of end it in that fashion was very sweet.
Ahead of the John Deere Classic, Victor was invited to do a clinic with some local children. Some players struggle to adjust to the extra demands of life on tour, but Victor appears comfortable in the spotlight.
This is something that I'm not used to doing. I think that was my third clinic, but, you know, as an amateur or a college golfer, it's not a thing you do all the time. So, you know, to kind of be able to get out of your comfort zone and do certain things that you're not used to and help out some kids and you know, trying to entertain them, that was really cool, and I think we had a good time.
This month, the 9th edition of the Rugby World Cup will get underway in Japan. It will be the first time the tournament has been held in Asia, and the event will showcase rugby union's growing global appeal. Staging the event will also serve as a warm-up for the Summer Olympics, which returns to Tokyo in 2020, having first been held here in 1964. Japan have challenged rugby union's traditional heavyweights in recent years, beating South Africa in the group stage at the last World Cup. The hosts kick off their campaign against Russia on September the 20th. Another up-and-coming nation expected to perform well in Japan is Georgia, and we had a chance to catch up with some of the team recently. Currently ranked 15th in the world, they are 9-time winners of the Rugby Europe Championship.
Rugby is not just a game here. It's a value system about unity.
Rugby suits their psychology. It suits them mentally and it suits them physically.
Rugby is huge in Georgia. The game's regularly drawing crowds of more than 50,000 spectators.
The fans are a big part of this game, and it's part of their cultural DNA.
Georgian rugby means hope to Georgians. It provides hope for our future.
I assure you that in 10 years from now, rugby will be huge here. Georgia will not only be a top-tier country in rugby, but it will be a real force to be reckoned with.
The popularity of rugby union in Georgia has its roots in a traditional sport called Lalo Berti. Dating back over 300 years, the game sees two sides of a village attempt to wrestle a ball to the opposing team's creek. The sport inspired the name of the Georgian Rugby Team, the Lalos, and explains the country's prowess in the scrum. The president of Georgian Rugby is Gotcha Shwanidze.
It's a very old game that dates back several hundreds of years. It's no wonder that the Georgian people have adopted rugby and have a real affinity with the sport, because traditionally we've played the same game. The ball was a bit different, but the game was similar.
Rugby, in its more well-known format, started to garner a following here in the 1920s. But when Joseph Stalin took control of the Soviet Union at the end of that decade, the sport was banned, deemed a futile pastime of capitalists. Since gaining independence in 1991, Georgia has won over 120 internationals and appeared at 4 World Cup tournaments. The Lelos have recorded World Cup victories against the likes of Tonga and Namibia. Drawn in a group with Australia, Wales, Fiji and Uruguay, Georgia have the potential to make a mark in Tokyo, and there have been calls for their inclusion in the 6 nations thereafter. Milton Haig is the head coach.
Certainly 6 nations is a little way off, but we're hopeful within the next 4 years that'll become a reality. I think you'll see Georgian rugby will be up around the likes of the Argentinians, the Scotlands, certainly the Italians, in terms of our progress, our infrastructure and our results on the test field.
This will be Georgia's 5th World Cup appearance. The team are renowned for their dogged determination and strength in the ruck, something that has taken hours of work behind the scenes. Not only do the team use conventional training methods, but they also integrate some age-old Georgian traditions into their program, such as wrestling. Most of the Lelos squad play their club-level rugby in Europe, predominantly in France, where they are exposed to different training styles. As such, the Georgians are fast becoming one of the most rounded squads. They will also be one of the youngest squads at the Rugby World Cup, something they hope they can use to their advantage. Whether the 2019 tournament is one too soon for this crop of players remains to be seen, but the future looks bright.
If you take that, a squad of 30, a third of our players are 20 or less. So, I'm really pleased what's been happening underneath the national team, because again, for us to be successful, for the national team to be successful, we need good young players coming through.
The Georgians pride themselves on their strong mentality, and their team spirit will be central to them progressing at the World Cup. One of the most charismatic characters of the squad is Gela Apradzidze. He's one of 2 talented young scrum halves in the team, alongside Vasil Lobzanidze. Whoever starts will be key to Georgia unlocking opposition defences.
Sport plays an enormous role in my life, especially rugby, of course. I cannot imagine my life without rugby. So it was a real honour for me to be invited into the senior team, as it would be for any player. I enjoy training with them, and I'd like to become a big sportsman for my country one day.
They may not win the Rugby World Cup, but anyone looking for a dark horse in the competition should have Georgia on their minds.